So we should be getting started right now.
Right now, even. And we've got simultaneous house starts for 10 bombs. Oh boy. You love to find that early.
So do you think we're going to see both players do the front of escape right off the bat with bombs?
Oh, I don't know. Personally. I mean, it's certainly possible. It is one of the weapons that can be granted in your guaranteed item standard. Screen rupees off the tree pool for both runners, and they're at least going to check Uncle. We got mapped there. I saw 2 and 7 on Desert and Hera. Did you catch Eastern?
I did not.
All right. Well, maybe our tracker was more on top of it, as we've got double big 20s out of the front here. The secret passage.
Always like to see a little bit of money at the beginning.
Yeah, maybe with those bombs in there. Chat's informing us red pendant, thank you. Oh, and the Eastern Palace prize. And yeah, with those bombs early, another big 20 out of the sanctuary. As Andy's going to go for the traditional Kakariko Open after this, and as you had hoped, we're getting some action here out of escape these bombs.
I love the early escape play, if only because I hate to have to do the escape anytime. So might as well do it as early as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, you would expect, even if it was just all big 20s all the way through here, the way the seed has been, you at least have money for bottle vendor, whereas Andy might not be guaranteed that luxury immediately, but should be able to pick it up quickly with some vanilla pot placement in town.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. And look at the beautiful bomb strats from saltyphry. Gets the vanilla map.
Yeah, well done. And so far,
tell the practice in that bomb placements in that room.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Andy did not check the lumberjack yet.
No, he did not. He went straight into the woods.
Indeed. All right. Yeah, lacking the boots, sometimes you don't even think about that because, or you rather choose not to check it because, well, you're not gonna be able to get it for a while anyway, and you'd rather see the logic sort of force you to do it in a way.
I can see both schools of thought. I personally like to have information. I think information is the most important thing you can have in a randomizer, but it's also a really low percentage check.
Yeah, both sides have a way of thinking. Oh, the bow out of Blind's basement here, and the hook shot. Whoa, and the fire rod. Okay.
Well, that's certainly a basement for you.
Yeah. Thieving is good business in this seed.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't pay much, but you get a cool toys everywhere.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, and the glove out of Zelda's chest. That's going to be a required dip.
Definitely. That's fun to see.
Oh, and Salty, seeming to kind of double take on his house start here, decides, make the best of it and head in from the south instead. Gonna wonder when he gets back up the sanctuary, though, with that glove, be able to check the back of escape.
Probably won't be too far behind the village. We'll get to farm some more bombs here.
Indeed, gonna check these. Oh no, skips right through the 50-50s, having the 4 bombs. But that bottle coming out of the well, too, it's gonna make this just a little bit faster now in the village. Be able to take care of the sick kid check. That's nice.
Always nice to be able to full clear the village in one go.
Yeah, if only we would find the flute.
If only. Looks like a green rupee in the library. Won't be coming back for that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that'll end up in either of our players' wallets.
Oh, just a bomb bag upgrade from the sick kid. More bombs is fun early in the game. You never know when you're going to need them. Except for, I mean, you know, the 6 or 7 places where you know 100% you're going to need them.
But it ended up paying off quite well to put them to use for saltyphry, as we saw getting that power glove. But right now, the best thing about this Kakariko village seems to be that basement of Blind's hideout.
Yeah, that's a little bit loaded. 3 major items.
Yeah. It kind of puts some weight on the scale towards at least a little bit of a trek into the early Eastern Palace play. You got your 3 items at Sahasrara, 3 items that you could sequence break, all of them for sure, out of Eastern Palace with that bow, but depending on what other items we get, we'll probably see them end up in one of their crystal dungeons first.
Yeah, I definitely would think we could see prioritizing crystals, but you never know. Like, it is a randomizer. Sometimes you're forced that way. And of all the dungeons to go into, Eastern's not that big of a time loss.
Indeed. So just a heartbeat so far out of the dam. Salty's gonna finish up the village here. We'll see if he checks the lumberjack and gets us that information that we crave as commentators and viewers.
2 heart pieces there at the swamp area. We have 5 more checks here in the mini Moldorm. Okay.
Yeah, that hook shot's gonna be great here. It's a 1-shot kill on each of these. At that point, you're just fighting pits and a little bit of RNG. Speaking of both.
The hook shot's so great.
Absolutely. You see there, used as a movement technique. All right, 5 for 5. Oh, another glove here. Wow. We're going to have early Titan's mitts and be just a moon pearl away from getting into that dark world.
So where is that moon pearl?
Is it in Ice Rod Cave?
Probably. that would make sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, statistically, it's incredibly unlikely, but we'll see. All right, fairies off of, I guess that's the 1 kill, 1 hit tree pool.
Well, the 2 tree poles is the 1 kill, then the 4 kills with getting hit, and 4 kills with taking damage. So that might be the tier 3.
Right.
Well, it was almost round enough to be the moon pearl, but
a second bottle. All right, and Salty gonna lay off on the sanctuary check for now. He got the map in the bottom half of Escape. Did he get the key? I don't think he did.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. And so now we're gonna see Andy take his gloves to the back of Escape. And we're running out of places as we go to oh, there's a flute.
Well, there's the
That'll
key
get us
too.
up on the mountain and the key. So there's Andy doesn't know this yet, but there is an item in the dark. Because we saw the map on the front half of Escape, and so we'll see if either of our runners attempts to grab it from the dark or waits on the lantern for it. But those gloves would have sequence broke the mountain for you. With the flute, you know it's in logic, and you can at least justify, well, maybe there's progression there. Of course, he has to roll to the village first and activate it.
And yes, the East Death Mountain has, what is that, 7 items over there that you can get? That's pretty lucrative.
Absolutely. When you've got the hook shot, that's how you open that up, so really nice early roll here. Salty with the mitts now. If that moon pearl ends up on the mountain, then he will have a little bit of an advantage in being able to get to, what, 6 more items? Potentially a 7th if, well, a 7th. We'll see if it's useful on the floating island.
And just with the mitts, without the moon pearl, can get 2 of the items in the Dark World with the super.
It's true,
glitch.
yeah. The cave is named after the glitch itself. And what you're seeing or not seeing on the left side now is Andy retrieving the old man from the dark. Gonna use that hook shot, get an idea where he is.
Glad he knows where he is. Because I don't. Probably gonna leave the dark chest for now.
Dark, yeah.
Gonna instead just go activate that flute.
Yeah, when you look at it from the numbers, you've got one item in there versus the plethora we were talking about just a moment ago here on the east side without the Moon Pearl. He's got the potential extra set of items because he has the mitts to lift that rock at the bottom of the east side of the light world.
And unlike the dark room Andy was just in on the mountain, in the escape with the enemies you have to kill, it's a lot harder without a sword to go through those dark rooms. It's just sometimes not worth it. Hey, that was a mirror, it looked like.
It sure was, and that's going to grant us access to our Crystal Dungeon Tower of Hera. And we just earned a couple more spots where we could end up finding some more progression.
Can't quite complete it yet, but...
Yeah, unfortunately need a weapon to take care of the boss Moldorm. But with that fire rod, if they got forced into a basement check, it wouldn't be the worst thing. So now Salty gonna make a play to the east.
I like this play too. I like checking the Spear 1 locations early on if you can, or just abandoning them, one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, having the flute, it saves you a save and quit when you can just walk out the door here and then get immediately to the mountain. So, you could see one's way of thinking to decide this. 70 rupees and a shovel. Alright, well, we may not go to the mountain just yet. Depending on how Salty feels about leaving that loose end.
That's a signal to go to the dig game as soon as you can. Almost enough money and the shovel. It's a sign. Hey.
And there's our Moon Pearl and our boots out of the bottom of Paradox Cave. Andy putting those to work immediately.
Items coming in just groups today, right off the bat.
Yeah, no item left behind. Gotta have a buddy to sit in the chest next to. There's our lantern. And 20 more bucks.
So no more dark rooms on Andy's side.
Oh, and trying immediately with the hovers.
Benefits of those boots. Fortunately, didn't quite get it there. Easy enough though.
Yeah, just getting warmed up and gonna take that hook shot. Either, well, I guess from this end he would be heading to Spiral Cave rather. A couple of similarly named caves here on the mountain.
Yes,
not
indeed.
Without checking the island first.
Death Mountain Cave, Spiral, Spike. There's Paradox that doesn't even make sense. That's why they call it that. Death Mountain's a confusing place.
Yeah. Seeing that hook shot come in handy again as there's Moldorms in the way. When you're dashing around without that sword, it's dangerous business.
Yes, the boots just make you go fast. They don't stop you from taking damage running into things. That's what the sword's for.
Indeed.
So with those boots, the bonk rocks are open.
And it's half magic. By no means required, but always nice to have.
Yeah, you're never going to turn down half magic. It definitely makes lots of things in the game more trivial. And that's always welcome when you're running a randomizer. Not that these guys needed to be more trivial, but...
Now that Andy has those boots, he is going to check the Lumberjack Cave. Because now the seed has told him you may be required. But just a big heart. as we are going to get that aforementioned Super Bunny check here. Watch as... Well, or just setting this up to get by the Tektites.
This is actually one of my favorite like setups in the game, to be able to pull off the fast check of Dark and Light Death Mountain.
Yeah, very nice.
Fortunately, we won't see the Super Bunny because of the Moon Pearl's location, but right idea.
Yeah, so he will have set that up, but knocks himself down in the best way for that. Won't have to worry about and potentially spend time setting up that glitch. Well, actually, no, in that cave it's free. Pardon my ignorance there.
Alright, so now we're seeing Andy head over to the eastern side of the Light World.
Yeah, with the lantern being where it was, now the entirety of Pendant Eastern is in logic, and so we'll see if that's what he chooses to do. We've got Green Pendant Mire, important crystals at Swamp and TR, it looked like.
That's what I saw.
And I did not catch... Oh, it was Thieves Town was Blue Pendant.
Pendant Thieves Town. Confirmed.
Yeah. We have the Fire Rod, so that Crystal Skull Woods is going to look good. You're going to want to hop in there early, get that done. Those front half chests, some people count them as the overworld. But ooh, look at that.
I was going to say, just need that sword, then Skull Woods is going to be the best play, and then boom, there it is.
Indeed. And of course, those dreaded curtains, the moldy ones in Skull Woods.
They're just there to ruin your day.
You're going to get some Turtle Rock information here, of course, requiring a medallion to open. And in this seed, it's Ether. So add that to the stack of progression items that our runners are going to need to complete this. And just taking the warp real quick to check the island.
Not gonna want that piece of heart, probably.
Oh, and the cape coming out of here. Gonna be a little bit less impactful, as nothing's on Lumberjack now. So it would take a very specific placement. Oh, there's Ether for saltyphry. Take a very specific placement of items to make that cape useful, plus minus bumper cave.
Yes, indeed, the bumper cave is the big one.
Other than that, of course, if we had a hammer in the pyramid before we found the flippers, then we could end up needing to beat Aghanim to get to that section of the map.
That can happen, yes. That is a thing.
It's a very strange thing, an incredibly low percent. Now we're seeing Salty head into the Tower of Hera.
Having the sword can finish it in one go.
Yeah, you're gonna want to do this here. There's a big key. Potentially avoiding the basement at this point. Andy making his way around the dark circle there. Over the bridge. And the vanilla big key placement.
Very nice damage boost in that room.
Yeah, it can be a little trickier than you'd expect. The timing's a little bit tight there. And when you have these few hearts, yeah, I mean, it's a real risk, as we see the Cane of Samaria out of the Eastern Big Chest. That's a required item coming out of Eastern, locked behind that lamp, mind you. And so making that play early, you would have had to sequence break it, but would have had some relief finding the lamp, knowing you wouldn't have to keep track of it anymore.
Yes, indeed. And getting all three items out of Eastern, not even going to bother killing Armos, straight on out of there. Knows the map is on the boss.
Yeah, good on him keeping track of placements. And so before he can even lift the heart piece, managing to flute away, Salty enters the fight with Moldorm. And he'll have no other option but Fighter Sword here. Which means, of course, activating the dreaded fast phase of him at the end when he gets very close to death.
It's just an NMG fight. Oh no.
Yeah.
Looks like my NMG fights.
But yeah, taking the bop there and falling.
Moldorm will knock you down relentlessly.
Yeah, the only bit of wisdom to take into this fight is where the head goes, the tail will follow. The other thing that maybe you want to also remember is that you don't always know where the head is about to go. So sometimes you bite off a little more than you can chew.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, Andy forcing his way through the green guard there is in escape now, going to pick up those Titan's mitts out of the cell chest. Oh, nice. Line up that dash to finish it up. Very clever and a little bit precarious, of course, being up here on the platform. If you fall off while he's exploding, well, you didn't get the crystal yet. Start the fight over.
And the Moldorm dropping the key.
And now, I wasn't studious enough counting items there. Is he leaving something behind?
I don't think so.
Alright. Taking advantage of the iframes from mirroring, Salty is able to put himself back in position away from those Lionels to get in the spiral cave. That's huge because so is the damage on those Lionels in Greenmail. And with the dash, with the Fighter Sword, you're not getting through. You need that Tempered Sword at least.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And Andy
otherwise they just laugh at you.
Yeah, and Andy just bursting through this escape, putting the hookshot to use in a couple of spots on these one-hit kill enemies for $20. It's going to feel like a bit of a time loss, but it comes with some consolation, peace of mind.
And now having the mitts. Where are we going to see Andy go first?
Well, it looks like we're going to get a King's Tomb check.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, and Surprise Guard.
And Fry heading over to the Meyer area. Bombos for Meyer today.
Alright. Another one on the stack of required items.
Well, maybe.
Oh, Meyer was pendant, that's right. I am not clairvoyant. And hopefully we won't have to see a second pendant Meyer dip in. Oh.
Almost skips the heart, says, no, I think I want that.
Yeah, might as well when you're still in your first row on the green mail. And you ran all the way down there, so.
Yeah. Might as well. Andy headed to the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, good chance at a number of items here. We'll see what he does about Pendant Thieves Town. It's a often intriguing play for our runners. You've got that front half that, you know, at least one of your 4 chests has to be the big key. But you could get 3 items. They could be 3 very important items. Or it could be your compass, your map, and your small key.
It's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Those are practically overworld, because they're ranged in just such a nice grid there on the floor.
Yeah, just 5 screen transitions. Like, not that bad at all.
Yeah. Especially with all the straightaways and those, which we're seeing Salty put to use here in Desert Palace, and another dungeon just filled with the straightaways. And there's a book inside of Desert.
A fitting place for it.
Yeah, the mirror being positively required to get in here. But I don't think our runners would have hesitated to use it as such either. first I thought I was watching Ben carve his M into the dig game, but now it's just... I'm not sure. I think it's a landscape. Gonna snub those 3 bombs.
Well, I was wrong about the dig game call.
Yeah, that one blew up in your face. Waka waka.
Just a little bit.
No. But Salty getting the one of the easier key dashes here in the game. If you're lined up on, it's like a multiple 4, and it happens to coincide with if you're hugging a wall. When you dash, hit a key door you have a key for, you'll actually just run through. If you're not on that multiple 4, you bonk off like it was solid, but the door does open, so that's nice at least.
Just a small piece of heart from the lumberjacks today.
Andy's gonna go for this whole Smith and chest chain here. After finishing up the dig game, gonna strand the hammer pegs there, but with the flute and the mitts, if it comes down to checking those later, it's really not that far out of the way.
No, with the flute, it really isn't.
And Salty into this Lambo fight. It's down to the final worm and giving it all sorts of different strategies. So we're going to see Andy welcome that full heart container there. He's just at 6 hearts at this point.
That's so crazy. I didn't even realize he was still on such low health. Not that he really cares.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody can get through the game on such little life, it's any of the runners in this tournament, really, and not least of all Andy, the winner of our spring tournament.
And now he just doubled his health with that blue mail, like, mostly.
Yeah, gonna take half damage from the enemies. There's still a couple of different types of threats that will deliver their full damage, like spiked floors and things that constitute basically traps. But for the most part, yeah, it's like having a whole second bar of health. There's Bombos, sitting right next to the Misery Mire area in the Light World.
And unfortunately, without that book from Desert, Andy can't check the Bombos tablet right there.
Yeah, the information would be nice, but Seed has been seemingly stingy with the sword so far. So, just be tempting depending on what it was. Oh, well, speaking of swords, though.
Well, now we know where 2 of them are.
Yep. And those flippers also an interesting sight. We've got all but the hammer for Swamp Palace now. Only 1 chest available there, but if that hammer opens up, we've got 6 potential items out of Swamp. Let's see these runners get there sooner than later.
The hammer could be there.
It's true, it could be in that first chest, and oof if it is. Sandy swaps over to the Mire area now. Salty going through Skull Woods. Looks like just a map so far. Haven't come in that big chest door. Getting the key here.
That will avoid having to go the long way around.
Yeah, if this ends up being the big key, oh, just another small key. And also, because his mirror would only place him in the drop spot.
And unfortunately, without the cane, he's going to have to do this room the long way if he wants to check this chest right away.
It's true. See him position the statue, and we'll see if he ends up getting frustrated at all by these Gibdo. Looks like it's smooth sailing. Able to sneak by just before the Gibdo came in to give him many hugs.
Excellent manipulation of the Gibdos. for bombs.
They love to chase you around, but they're just a little bit slow at it, so you can be someplace and shift at the last second and kind of bait them in. And now, gonna see the play into the back of Skull Woods. So far, no items. We know our big key, well, one item, the bombs. And we know our big key's at large, so we may see a trip back into the front of this dungeon yet, depending on what we find here.
Just no good items.
Yeah, forgettable bombs. Ooh, getting the ether strat here in this room. Beautiful stuff.
That's one you don't see very often. Is nice to conserve magic when you have Fighter Sword Mothula coming up.
Yeah, it's true. Being doubly conservative, making sure he just puts the lamp to use.
There's a small magic refill in this room too.
Yep. And what do you think? He's got 6 shots of Fire Rod, maybe? Maybe 5. I don't know. I'm squinting.
It'll take 8 or 8 spins or some combination of 16 hits and...
Ooh, one of those going errant. Gonna be very patient with that last one. Got that red potion. Oh. Alright, we're into probably the slower part of this fight now. Oh, we're getting around those spikes very nicely. Those sliding spikes being one of the things that, even with the blue mail, Andy will not have any defensive benefit against, as they kind of classify as traps. One heavy heart each way. Oh, we're coming down to it. Come on, Salty. Sneaking in the spins. Andy's making his way towards, and he gets it. Very nice. Wow.
Whew. Couldn't even talk because I was just...
yeah. Yeah, great stuff from Salty there. Yeah, eking that one out. That's tough fight. Oh, and getting the side shot was Andy on the Lambos. Would have been the 0.
With that, the land molars are down. Andy has the 50 rupees and the crystal. That's his first crystal.
Yeah, he's got 2 to catch up on here on Salty, but there's still many items at large. Now the big key coming, as we knew it would here, out of the sort of out-of-the-way chest in the back of Skullwoods. I'm not sure if it really has another name. And get your Bless RNG in the chat one way or the other. We're about to get a pedestal check. A rupee hoard. Alright. And if it weren't for the rupee count we already have for these runners, we might be sad to think that, oh, one of those 300s won't help them get to Zora at some point.
I mean, it could. It'd just be really, really time-consuming.
Right. Yeah, so just some cash money on the pedestal.
Now Andy heading over to Dark Death Mountain. Gonna check out all the items over here.
Now, wait, did he find Hammer somewhere? He did not. Okay. Whoops. You get into a habit, and, you know, these things happen.
Yes, indeed. Had me confused for a second, too. Thought I'd missed something somewhere.
Alright, the second item out of Skullwoods, just the 5-arrow upgrade.
So, unfortunately, nothing great in Skullwoods, except for the crystal. The crystal's pretty great. You want that.
Absolutely. And that boss fight. I know it's not one of the items in the pool, but it was pretty good.
Yes, it was a good Fighter Sword Mothula. I love to see Fighter Sword Mothula. It's a great fight.
Alright, just bombs on Bumper Cave. Andy now reaching that Master Sword level. And Salty heading to the Lumberjacks. I guess both these guys skipped it. Here, I hadn't noticed. I thought I just missed it for Salty. But then I guess his route was rather inopportune for that check.
Yeah, he going up through the forest last.
And so far we have swords in Super Bunny Cave and Hype Cave. So Andy has both of those, and saltyphry will most likely get the other one in short. He's gonna check those bonk rocks now. Getting that half magic, which he's probably thinking, this would have been nice in that mall fight.
Yeah, just a little bit of more help.
Oh, the skin of the teeth mirror dodge here from Andy. Good stuff. Coming right up face to face with the Lionel and vanishing frustratingly.
So with our first ether check, we have powder.
Well, we'll see if that comes useful apart from its safety features.
Opens up exactly one location on the map, which you can get to now with the mirror.
It's true. And that's a devious place for the hammer to rest as a possibility.
I mean, really, from what we know, all of the places left for the hammer can be kind of devious.
I suppose that's true. We've got flippers and mitts, and so it could be early in the, or even relatively late into Ice Palace. It basically just can't be in any locations in Turtle Rock at this point, dungeon-wise. Now Salty has made his way over to the village of Outcast. We'll see what he thinks of Thieves Town at this point.
Thinking of dashing right past it to go check out the Sea House.
Indeed. And C is for capacity today, as we saw Andy open that earlier as well. Now Andy gonna have an easier time with this Moldorm fight, as it ends very quickly. Just 3 sword spins.
Yes, if you can do the right amount of damage, you can just bypass that final phase altogether.
Yeah, it's super nice to do when you can. And it looks like Salty had left the item.
Yes, I stand corrected. I sit.
I mean, and I had completely missed it, so I hope you had no fault. And the similar routing here through the shovel game, through the first, 6 digs, it means absolutely nothing.
Still have to dig forever to get those bombs.
Yep. The landmines, if you will. There they are, passed up once again. Sandy using what we call the coffee break strat, taking advantage of the continual collision with that peg allows him to remain invulnerable, but he's also not blocked from walking out of its space. So then once the door's opened, he can go. Oh, I like that, is that Fire Rod dash?
Was.
Very nice. And the fact that you can turn your dash too, you can aim that shot down and get across the room.
So just a full heart container in the basement of Hera.
So that'll be time saltyphry effectively has made up and gone ahead, unless he goes back to check it, in which case there may be an even bigger amount of time that he spends to get it than Andy did, given his proximity.
Knowing Ether's up there too might not be. We might see it.
It's true. It's just another reason to get up there. Especially if we see a Turtle Rock play at all without Go mode.
That's certainly possible.
Yeah. Alright, Bombos for saltyphry. These guys can get into both of our medallion dungeons.
Well, they can't quite get a Turtle Rock. Still need
right.
But
right. But when it comes down to casting the spell,
the hard part has been found.
We'll see where the hammer ends up too, though, huh? Not to contradict.
Quote unquote hard part.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that somebody says, and then the hammer is in the first chest of swamp. Question in chat. Oh, go ahead.
No, with the Master Sword and the half magic, not so worried about the ether strats in the Gibdo room.
Yeah, not at all. And you're seeing, even though he had to stop to get that key, using the spike very effectively to take out that Gibdo, you know, he's just going to be going so much more quickly through this section and may not even have the opportunity to put on as much of a spectacle of a fight for the amount of power he has available.
I think he'll be happy with that. Not
yeah.
having to worry.
I was going to say, to put it in a very viewer-centric way. But yeah, so down goes Malthea with much greater ease here. saltyphry gonna close the sword gap here as he opens a pipe cave. In Zelda 1, you go into a cave and an old man gives you a sword. In Zelda 3 Randomizer, you walk into a cave and a rat gives you a sword, I guess?
Yeah, something like that.
With that crystal gap closed, it kind of evens things out altogether. We're seeing the sword had some impact on that. And are we getting the... Oh, we're right here. And so Salty's thinking, I'm going to check that chest. We got one chest. I don't have hammer, and if it's hammer, I'm going to be in such a good position. Because nobody wants to go in there looking for a hammer.
No, you don't. But if you're here, you know.
Right. Hey. The route sort of led this way, and we'll see if it pays off. He's been able to mitigate some of the time you usually take setting this up. Still very much the gamble. We'll find out now what it was worth.
We will indeed.
It's 20 rupees. Ooh.
Well, that's not what you want to see there, but
no. But
being in the area, it's not as bad as it could be.
Indeed. This was a time to make that play, and it was, you know, it's a randomizer. So now, we'll see now what is on Bombos.
Then that kind of sucks.
Oh, if this ends up being the hammer, yeah. Oh, just an arrow upgrade and a barbecue buzzard.
Oh, so now we're gonna see the Ice Palace play.
I believe so.
Or maybe Zora first?
At the very least, the island check. Yeah, I guess nobody's been up that way, even to like the waterfall and stuff. Having gotten the Moon Pearl when they did, the sequence break route wasn't necessarily on their mind with so much else to do.
Yes, you can get into the waterfall cave without the flippers if you have the moon pearl, because game's weird, man.
It's weird enough that you can get there without the flippers.
Yeah, indeed. But the way the game checks when you leave caves, it just doesn't do that check if you have the moon pearl anymore.
Alright, we're seeing Andy going to make his way up to Catfish, and so we might see these guys kind of converge at Zora in a way.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, and if Zora ends up having the progression, like something huge like Hammer, this is going to really just keep these guys just so neck and neck. Unless the item's on Catfish, of course, because Salty, being in the light world, not going to be able to take advantage of that. Oh, just 5 rupees. He'll be snubbed.
Not quite what we're looking for. You can hit things with the 5 rupees, but they won't hurt. So now the scam fish himself.
What's he got today? Bombs.
No progression here.
Indeed.
So that gives us Pod or Ice Palace or Pendant Mire, where the hammer could be.
It's true. We could have another dip into Pendant Mire. We could have a go all the way to Vitreous if Salty decides to. Well, it looks like he'll be going to Mire now, but if he had gone to Eastern to get his cane of Samaria, and so I think perhaps double checking if this was Green Pendant, but then again, lacking the cane, not sure.
Andy heading back up into the north portal, going back towards Village of Outcasts.
Is this going to be the Thieves' Town play? He's running in that direction, and here we go. Lots of straightaways, 4 chests in the front, a few more in the back. A total of 4 potential progression items here. Red mail to start. Not progress, but it's something. Salty's, was using the sword beams until I noticed to make quick work of that Wizrobe room.
Yeah, so saltyphry knowing nothing's at the pedestal. We'll just hope to find some items here. Can't finish it without the cane.
It's true. Hoping they're in the front.
There's the big key. And the ice rod.
Alright, ice rod is big key chest in Thieves' Town.
Well, there's a guaranteed dive into a pendant dungeon that you have to make.
On top of the Eastern Palace dive for the king. And so, is the hammer here in Mire? Would it be 3 required items for Turtle Rock in 3 separate pendant dungeons? And then some people call Escape the 4th pendant dungeon in open mode, and that contained a glove today. So,
lots of
just circuitous routes. First item out of Mire, bomb upgrade. Oh, getting the stash is a bit misdirected. Gonna hope for those items sooner than later here. Oh, and it's key.
Useless key. Mire keys are worthless.
Yeah. He's running his way back. I did not see. Did he pick up the big key?
I don't think so. Maybe. Nope.
There it is.
Now he has.
Alright. And so, is there an item in the big chest? Or is it the map? Or the key. So now he's got the cutscene chest, the vanilla big key location that he has to make his way all the way back over for. Vitreous is not even an option at this point. This could be relatively problematic for Salty if it turns out the item is the hammer, but it's on Vitreous.
Yeah, that could be bad.
Because it could just be an item here and be another arrow upgrade or something. But yes, the ice rod was in Thieves Town front. So far, nothing meaningful out of Misery Mire.
Did you know that Blinded was a scripted fight? Executed perfectly.
Yeah, beautiful for a shield.
So we know that the hammer can't be in the big chest in Thieves Town. And there's a 10 bomb upgrade in Mire, so it can't be in Misery Mire either.
Alright, and that's good news for Salty. If that wasn't the item, he might come back if he goes to Eastern and gets that cane at some point.
Oh, now we're going to see...
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, this is the dumb bat play that would be dumb.
I mean, while you're here and you needed the mirror to access it at the perfect time, similar to that first chest swamp play we saw from Salty earlier. And it's... $20. Oh, man.
Now that will cost Andy his Dark World portal, but with the flute can go on and check out things elsewhere.
Yeah, no big deal here. Now we're going to see... Yeah, Salty's making his way over to the east. So, see him venture up the catfish. Has anyone been to the pyramid yet?
No, they have not.
Oh, man. If anyone routes into Pod, we assume they'll check there first.
Pod's so far away. I don't know. What do you think we're going to see first? Ice Palace or Pod?
Well, you can finish Ice Palace. So I would... Well, no, you can't. You need the hammer.
The hammer's there.
Yeah. Either of those dungeons going to be, if you find the hammer there, you can finish them. And they're both crystals. We already ruled out Swamp in that regard.
Looks like saltyphry's coming back since he's already done Zora, can come down to the pyramid now. So it looks like we're going to see Pyramid Pod there.
Yeah.
Which will also let him route in Eastern, should he wish to. Get that cane. Andy going back through North Dark World. Also going to be looking like headed into the pyramid.
And Salty not liking what he sees, so... Yeah, and that's definitely where Andy's heading, or you'd expect, and then on to Palace of Darkness, so we'll see these two sync up again.
And it does make sense to do Pod first, even though it takes forever to get over here, because you can check everything except for Helmasaur King.
Yeah, with the current kit, the only thing off the table is that crystal, and whatever item might be under there. But for us, we know that the best it could be would be silvers or another sword, really, if it's useful.
And while neither runner needs those things, the Tempered Sword is the biggest upgrade in damage in the game, except for the silver arrows.
Indeed. each of them would have a profound effect on the ending of the scene.
Much, much faster.
Our early big key makes us bow lock, but that bow was very early and so not particularly surprising.
Yep, we found that in Blind the Adventurer's basement.
I thought the reason why he stopped adventuring was because he was blind, but you think he took an arrow to the knee?
I mean, it's possible. Especially if you can't see the arrow coming.
Yeah, it could be, could be. Oh, Salty's gonna want to be careful.
We'll be able to use this as a death ward, since
it's true.
No hammer. Unless this is the hammer, in which case, then, you know. Nope, the bug net. You can also swing that at enemies, but it won't hurt them.
Hey, you're gonna put that found key to use here to get up the middle. Check this ledge chest. Andy grabbing his bug net. These guys are just neck and neck. Got the key here, gonna rush to the back.
With the big key, I like that plate. You can hammer jump here if you want. I guess you would wait till after clearing the right side to hammer jump, because then you don't have to worry with the mirroring and coming back and stuff.
I suppose that's true. But yeah, having the big key, you know, you're going to get at least some amount of keys here. So even if you want to leave the Harmless Hellway, then to go into the Dark Maze, which statistically, smart move, you know you have the keys and you're out. There is the hammer in the horseshoe with a piece of heart. And that's huge. That's going to put Andy into go mode. Meanwhile, we're waiting on 2 pendant dips for saltyphry here. He has to go to Thieves Town and to Eastern. We may see him dip into Eastern after this. But it kind of puts things into Andy's corner.
Yeah, the hammer being here definitely gives Andy a large advantage.
Yeah, because you're seeing he's going to play directly back here as well.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if we see saltyphry go to Ice Palace after this before going back to Thieves Town. Even with the Eastern dip, the Ice Rod being able to be anywhere.
Yeah, the fact that the Ice Rod is only needed to defeat Trinex puts it at the highest potential number of locations out of any item. Except for maybe the silvers, technically.
Yeah, the silvers will be somewhere gettable. And that's about it. So now it's on to the Helmasaur King.
Yeah, we're gonna see Salty finish this dungeon because it is a crystal. It's just he'll have cleared out quite a bit more.
Andy also heading back towards Helmasaur King.
Oh, and getting a little jittery there, trying to get that crystal switch hit. He's through. Getting that statue moving just about 15 seconds behind saltyphry, but since he's in go mode, that small deficit is going to turn into a sizable lead very quickly. It's going to take all the right plays from Salty to keep himself in this.
Most definitely. I'll get controlled a little bit by that one turtle. It's crazy how sometimes the game takes the routes really far apart and then brings them right back together.
Yeah.
Into the seed.
Yeah, when you have the wide open opportunities, you can see everybody interpret the seed just a little bit differently and feel or think or be just so certain that, oh, I must go this way. This is the best play. And sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. We're seeing sword strats in second phase on Helma here. Be careful of those fireballs. And despawns the second set, very nice.
And the boss is exploding on both screens.
Yeah, just about less than a second apart on the maps, yeah. We are going to get the mirror, which means we're going to see Salty head in the Eastern Palace. No, gonna flute away.
Oh no. Oh, go back.
Unfortunate. But the synchronized headbanging and everything, these guys are on each other's tail. Unfortunately, Salty's gonna have a larger number of chests in between him and the end of the seed.
Yeah, just a few more checks going forward.
Yeah, we're going to see them both play through Swamp, and you're going to see this go very differently with each side. Andy may open one or two chests that are kind of on the way, but apart from that, we won't see much of anything open for him. It would be advantageous for him to get a sword and silvers before the end, but certainly not required.
Only by logic.
Right, technically required, but when you execute the way these guys do, not required.
Oh yeah, the logic is more of just suggestions, kind of like pirate codes. So do you think we'll see Andy open the waterfall chest, or as I like to call it, the value chest?
You know, I'm not sure of his tendency on it. I mean, I know he's comfortable enough with a Master Sword Silverless. But if you have a particular tendency for that chest, you might go out of your way for it, albeit a very short way out of your way.
In just a couple of seconds to push the block.
Yeah.
So being go mode, that's all Andy has to do to get to the back of the dungeon. No worries about checking the left side or the south side or any of that.
Yep. Just grab that small key, hook shot around, straight over.
Meanwhile, saltyphry making the loop around the bottom. Or health. Oh, he's going to check both of these down here also. More health. Not quite a sword or some arrows.
Yeah, not the things he was hoping for, but we're into our second row of hearts. On the red mail, not really a worry.
Yeah, no worries anymore. Let's get to the end of the dungeon. Now saltyphry finding out there is something on the left side for sure.
Yeah, we'll see just what he's willing to do.
There's the first phase of Argus down.
Yep, easy peasy, and we'll see what he tries to do here in this phase. Oh, almost got the double spin in there. I think that would have been enough, yeah. Very nicely done. And a shield upgrade. Another, not logically required, but if it's forced on you, you're not too mad.
Yeah, it just causes a little bit of lag.
Salty going for the same strat in that second phase, but not getting the best of it there. Down goes Argus. Alright, Andy now into the Ice Palace. Uses iframes to run through a choo-choo.
And go mode Ice Palace is very quick.
Yeah, we'll likely see Salty, well, after he most likely pulls the rest of the items from this dungeon. Yes. He's going to go to Ice Palace as well and have a very different experience than we're going to see Andy have as well. Swamp and Ice, the two just go-modenist dungeons, if you can pull it off. But Salty, unfortunately, has to push all the way back in. Stretch deep into the Ice Palace, or the Swamp Palace, rather. And we'll see what he finds.
First up, the big chest. Not quite what we were looking for.
Nope. Yeah, again, at this point, for not having gone pretty much like straight to Eastern and Thieves Town, is even the sword or the silvers, like they're not gonna close the gap enough.
No, probably not, unfortunately. And another nice little, who needs bombs? No need to bomb jump when you can just hover. It's worth learning just for that room alone.
Yeah, there's a number of ways this dungeon benefits from boots, not least of all being crossing gaps. Those ice physics can be just a pain. But we see Andy continuing to check chests here and there, provided they're essentially in his way. Again, for a sword or some silvers, same as Salty's hoping to get here. On top of course, that ice rod and that King of Samaria for Salty.
And there's the compass on the left side, and the final item coming up.
$20. Oof.
Swamp Palace took total bust today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And Andy showing just how powerful the half magic is against Cold Stare.
Yeah, you can swing that with almost reckless abandon. And of course, the spin to keep them grouped is a great way to start. So Andy has but one more crystal dungeon to complete. The one most proximal to Gannett's Tower, so it'll be a pretty small amount of time left on the overworld at this point.
Yep, just a quick flute to one, and then over to Turtle Rock.
Oh, but Salty hit a small technical snag. You'll never know what was in that chest.
And he used the hook shot to get the full Waffle House drive-through. That was beautiful.
Such a fun movement item, that hook shot.
It really is.
Yeah, for the intended uses and even some of the...
Like that super speed right there. Just beautiful. Nice bomb jump.
Yeah, when you're familiar with your sprite, the only thing you're ever wrestling with is your controller. Once you wrangle that, it's easy every time.
So, are we going to have to go to the lava island? Or are we going to be able to steal that key? Are we going to get the early big key?
Yeah, that's the main factor it hinges on. We don't need any more items. So if we get that big key before we get to that island and we are in bona fide go mode, you take that key, you do not open that small key door. You get about your business and go fight Trinex. Curious kit here out of the start. Oh, the wrong cane. That's alright.
Gets it first try.
I mean, once he got the blue cane out, yeah.
Single arrow, meanwhile, in the vanilla big key chest of Ice Palace.
Oh, gosh.
Have to walk all the way over there for such
I was going to say,
reward.
Under the circumstances, could not be a more upsetting item.
I know if I open it, I would just be thinking, typical.
Yep. This is why no one likes you, Ice Palace. Yeah, and getting what we knew to be a key out of that chest, because you got a door there. Got a map in the big chest out of Ice Palace, so swords and silvers yet to be found.
At this point, they're probably on the laser bridge or in the tower somewhere.
Yeah, it seems most likely. saltyphry working his way through it. A vanilla big key there. Had to open that door because he had not found the key yet.
And a piece of heart in the iced tea room.
I'll be heading his way back. We're gonna see Andy head outside over the ledge here.
Might as well check the big chest. There could be a key there.
It's true, you may end up having to come back to do this anyway. Yeah, I hadn't noted his key count sharp. Ah, nice key dash there. Didn't occur to me that that would be a multiple 4 at the top of that barrier.
Most barriers and things like that are.
Yeah, because they have to be on the edge of the tile layout. Makes sense. Good stuff. Huh. And the mirror shield, the vanilla dungeon item from here.
Just a couple of rooms away.
Yeah. You know, it'd be neat if we switch this key and this shield.
Saltyphry down to a half heart.
Oh, jeez. He does not need to add this to the circumstances in this dungeon, and he gets it done. All right.
Whew. So now Andy onto the laser bridge.
Depending on the key placement.
Laser skips, but will.
Alright. And since we're on the bridge, why not check a few more things? We get Quake. Oh. Very nice. Putting it to Mario to use. And the map. Which I guess means that Trinex is hoarding something.
Yeah, well, now he knows the map of the dungeon that he's been through the entire thing. He knows the layout. That's helpful.
Oh, this is where I was going. Now, it looks like Salty is going to be heading up here to couple together possibly the tablet along with, I don't think anyone's done Spike Cave, and might go back on that Hera basement, which we knew was nothing.
Yeah, with those 3 items there together, that's a reasonable play.
One of the higher concentrations he has left outside of dungeons. Unfortunately, we know he needs that Cane of Samaria from Big Chest of Eastern, and that Ice Rod from, was it the Maiden's Chest? Or no, it was in the front, in the big key chest.
Yeah, it was in the big key chest.
Yeah.
The cane you got to go all the way through, and the other you have to just right there at the beginning.
Oh, that's right, because the vanilla big key in Eastern Palace too, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, jeez. Alright, so Trinex down. Solid fight from Andy.
Gets some more money.
Yeah, just some prize money. Had that rupee count before the end of the seed. And we'll never know what was in Spike Cave.
Sad days. It wasn't a tempered sword.
It was not. We see him pause on his Master Sword swing there as he flutes away. And Andy's heading into Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in the chat. Where is Ganon's Tower? Big key.
And it looks like Saltyphry is going to be heading back over to Thieves Town.
Could be, could be. Seems like maybe he didn't do hammer pegs either. And we could see powder.
Oh yeah, hammer pegs also were skipped because they didn't have the hammer over here.
Right.
Lots of items.
Yeah, and some of the gated items here probably gonna make the item count seem a little lower than they might have otherwise been.
And a key on the Bob torch, and he says, "I'll take that."
Yeah, goodbye, Bob. Salty gets a rather salty red rupee off of that bat.
And so far through 7, 8. 8 is the answer.
And with 2 keys, he'll be able to skip a little bit of action in the Helmasar room. We'll see if he's still in the chest-checking mood by the time he gets up there.
Might be still being on Master Sword Silverless, but you never know. And with Mimics 2 done, it's on the way to the Gauntlet, while saltyphry is heading into Thieves Town and will be getting the Ice Rod.
Yeah, this is the play he needs to make. Well, one of them, and then it'll be back to Eastern.
At least he'll be finding the Ice Rod first. So
it's true.
that, you know, he's not running into Turtle Rock looking for the Ice Rod, because that's always bad times.
Yeah, luckily for him, that cane keeps you from going pretty much anywhere in that dungeon, so you walk in, pick up some magic, and then leave if you like.
I mean, you could hover it if you really wanted to, you know, break your wrist. And now heading to the back with the Ice Rod in tow. saltyphry's going to full clear Thieves Town.
Solid land mode 2. And yeah, knowing there's still items in here, this is the logical play for Salty, given that he doesn't know that Eastern has the cane. So
yeah, I mean, you're here. You might as well. Nice loose robes too.
Yeah, always fun watching the Cane of Samari get put to work.
Well, the mushroom or fetch questy things.
If Ganon says the silvers are in Light World, let's all agree that they must have been on Mushroom.
Oh, we'll find out in the credits.
I guess that's true too. Alright, one more chest and magic refill here for Andy. Set him up very well. Ooh, yeah, staying on with some inputs there.
Nicely done.
Moldorm 2 looking pretty much like his Moldorm 1 there. Had the same sword, the same power. And our final opening of the game, just a bomb upgrade.
What, you don't think he's going to mirror and go turn that mushroom in? Like, come on now.
Oh yeah, I guess with the flute, you could. Nah. Oh, there are the silvers.
We found... That's awesome.
Yeah. That'll be a little bit of a help for saltyphry here in the final fight.
And a nice double there to finish off Aga 2. And we'll be into a Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight.
Yeah, don't get dizzy. There's a lot of spins here. The Master Sword not actually being powerful enough to hit Ganon without using the secret technique handed down by your uncle.
The Sword of Evil's Bane when spun in a circle. So it's going to be 12 spins in each of the first 2 phases, then 4, then another 24 spins in the final phase. And it's really just an exercise in patience and getting through phase 2.
For the most part. Past that, it becomes perhaps taxing on your movement, because you really need to be disciplined to avoid taking your knockback in the wrong direction. You see now Andy able to sort of recklessly hit the walls and even use them to his advantage in some cases to kind of keep himself relatively closer. But as soon as those tiles start dropping, you could be next.
And saltyphry is into Eastern Palace, which we know is the correct play. He will be getting the Cane of Samaria very soon.
Yeah.
Well, relatively soon.
Yeah, he's got to make the full loop for that big key, but it's all right.
And getting the free spin. And with half magic is going to use the fire rod to get 3 hits in every cycle instead of the usual 2.
Yeah, nice skill play here from him. Something to help make what is a very long fight just that much faster. You see, stepping towards the edge to bait the bat there, but making sure he gets back so his knockback brings him inside the platform. And over again, he does this.
Just a dance at this point.
Pretty much, and for somebody as experienced as this, it may be muscle memory at this point. There it is.
And that's it. Down goes the pig. Ganon is defeated.
Yeah, get your GGs in the chat for Andy as he crosses that bridge. Finishing first place with a time 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 15 seconds. A winner is you indeed, Andy. GG.
GG to Andy, taking race 1 in this best of 3 in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, still potentially 2 more matches, at least 1.
That's go mode for saltyphry.
There it is.
So now it's just a quick jaunt up to Turtle Rock for him to finish off the seed also.
Yep, gonna do his Turtle Rock as fast as he can. We'll see what route he ends up picking for Ganon's Tower. Could give him a little bit of a run around, but at this point it's all the same, really. Right on up, and you'll see, what was that, 24 fewer spins? Well, 20 fewer spins. He's going to need to spin once at most for each of his crystal shots.
Yes, we'll have to hit Ganon with the spin too, to put him in the blue phase. To be vulnerable to those silver arrows. And it looks like we have our winner in here now. Yeah. GG Andy.
Congratulations on your first victory, Andy.
Hey, thanks, GG.
I saw your marking in the IRC about the opening of this, and in particular the basement of Blind's house.
Yeah, it was definitely something.
At that point, how sure were you that you were going to end up in Eastern Palace at some point?
Well, with the way I ended up routing it, that ended up being really good, because if I had done Escape first, I probably would have put off Eastern for a long time.
Yeah, that is pretty much what Salty ended up doing, was he got pulled away with the lore of all those Dark World locations, and is just now working through Turtle Rock on stream, so ends up being the better play to kind of stick it out in the light world for a while, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. I had so many things, but no Dark World access. And then I was like, man, like, this Gomo item is gonna be really interesting. It's either gonna be the worst item in Ice Rod or like the best item in Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer keeps you out of a lot of places, so it ends up being nice. We did see Salty end up going through most of Misery Mire looking for it, even though, and so there's still a couple of snags you can hit, but overall you sniffed this one out pretty well.
Without Hammer, I figured Thieves Town was my best bet first, and then Pod, just because it's a pain to get to Pod without the Hammer.
Yeah. But once you're in there, as you demonstrated, you can get to everywhere but the boss, really, without the Hammer, so huge number of chests, huge potential items, so those numbers really coming into play, and, you know, knowing the, just kind of the way the game distributes things, you were able to make the best of it. Nice job. On top of, obviously, you know, the brilliant execution we come to expect from Andy.
Yeah, I hadn't played Zelda in like 6 days before yesterday, and yesterday it was bad, so I'm glad I got the bad out of the way yesterday.
I was gonna say, well, today we couldn't notice, so. Plus minus a couple of fun menu things, but I'm sure your viewers will make sure they post the clips for you and all that.
There was also so when I went to Death Mountain, like the second time, I guess when I had Titan's Mitts, and
go into Turtle Rock without the
yeah, so I hookshot it across, and I'm like, okay, if Turtle Rock is Bombos, I only need Ice Rod and Hammer, and I kept like saying that to myself because I was saying Hammer so much. My brain was just like, Hammer, let's go to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Hammer
and then I got there and I'm just like, oh god.
That happens.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So when you got the bombs at the beginning, did you consider going into the escape at all?
No, not at all. I was like, 10 bombs, I can not spend money in Kakariko.
Because saltyphry went straight into the escape with those 10 bombs and got the gloves out of the escape immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely something you could consider, but I feel like I would most likely get something else that would be faster than bombs in Kakariko, or somewhere else that Kakariko leads me. And the front of escape can very well just, you know, have one item. So.
Yeah, what you mean for purposes, basically, yeah, it had that one item. Turned out, you know, you had to get back there eventually, but it wasn't anything, like you said, keeping you from plenty of item checks in the meantime, so. Again, a different seed in that play could have turned out completely differently, but, you know, you gotta play your numbers. Any other thoughts on this one? Must be feeling pretty good. A game up at this point in your first round. You make it to the second round and you're guaranteed some of that prize money.
Yeah, winning game one is pretty big. It puts Salty in a very interesting position in game two. I don't know, it's hard to win two in a row, like, or being forced to win 2 in a row when you're down 1 already.
Yeah.
So
even if it was a coin flip, and of course these races aren't, you know, you're still gonna come out on top at this point.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. I played relatively well today, which is good.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can keep it up for tomorrow night, same time, same place probably.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
That's right. 6 p.m. on Speed Gaming. It'll be game 2 of ALG Andy and saltyphry. Gonna be exciting to see if this ends up hitting a game 3 or not. We'll see just what differences in Salty's play and routing we'll find, and if that'll be enough to take him past Andy for a game 2 win. Thank you again for an excellent run. You're by no means obligated to stay, but certainly welcome to.
I'll probably head out.
Alright.
But I will see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah. And good luck with game 2. Thanks again for the awesome run.
GG. Thank you. GG. If there aren't Andy GGs in the chat, I'm gonna be upset.
Well, you heard the man. As Salty's working on Trinex now. And really just loving to get to that beep phase before he gets to the end of these boss fights. But still pulling off the boss fights, as we say, or we see a 148 out of 216 item check rate. Perhaps seeing the impact of Hammer for Go mode for Andy here. Just barring out large portions of checks like Turtle Rock and Swamp Palace until he could do it.
Some of the just one-off overworld locations also.
It's true, like we saw Salty hit up the hammer pegs. As with those 2 hearts left, he does take down Trinex and GG in that fight.
And with that, it's going to be into Ganon's Tower for saltyphry.
Yep, we know that that big key is in the firebar room. I'm not familiar with saltyphry's preferred route through here. Obviously, it depends largely on getting a key on the right side. If you even check those 2 chests first, there, you know, some folks who will not do that.
It all depends on how you're feeling. In we go. A race to the firebar room. Not that saltyphry knows that, but we do. And we're gonna get to see the right side.
Oh, ma'am.
So we might get to find a sword over here.
It's true. May end up with a tempered silver fight to make this all the easier.
Quickly through both those routes.
I heard some rupees. We'll see what color his sword is when he swings. Just the Master Sword yet. And once I grab a key here, just kind of priming this key count. Little does he know he'll be well in position to push on ahead.
Just getting that full heart container, taking down the last Stalfos.
Yeah, and at this point we know we won't see that other sword, so it'll be...
Nope, here we are.
Some number fewer spins. And just some silver arrows will barbecue the pig on Salty's side.
into Mimics 1. The silver arrows, they take just 1 each. Instead of the normal 2.
Yeah, and when you have that mirror shield, it's super nice because the mimics can't hit you with that fireball, so you can just face them head on. And at that point, it's a pretty simple movement pattern and a couple of Y button presses, and that room is just toast, provided you've got your BMOS at the right spot. We saw them get a little bit harassed there.
On to Ganon Z. And into the gauntlet. Not quite dashing all the way through, but making it through nonetheless.
Very nice first room. Folks discussing that crack in the wall at the end of the Ganon Z, as you called it. That is actually the specific spot in the vanilla game that puts bonking places into the logic. You get those 2 curious blocks on the end. You run your boots into them and fly across the gap, and you can open up that cracked wall. And then it's
all the cool stuff.
Yeah, you get a couple of fairies and a magic refill in there.
Some bombs.
And as chat continued to explain, you can hook shot back. Oh, bombs in there. I didn't even realize that. I guess if you're super low on them, you definitely need them for a specific spike room coming up. It really could be just what you need. Although, I guess that's supposing you have the bomb to get in there first.
And another nice Wizrobe's 2 room.
Yep.
Now he is entering into my least favorite room in the entire game.
Yeah, this might be my least favorite as well.
It only takes despawning the tower once to hate it. And I've done that like 6 times.
I don't often like to talk about my own times playing this game on the mic, but I had my first despawn the other day, and oh, is it just disheartening.
Luckily, saltyphry does not have to worry about despawning the tower today.
No. Was able to not synchronize his arrival on those stairs with the torches going out downstairs. That just gets rid of all the sprites. There's no spikes, no Moldorm.
No Aga 2.
Yep. No turkey sandwiches, no turkey allocated. Gone. All gone.
Go back to start. Couple of spins, 1 more. Nicely done to take down Moldorm 2.
Yep.
Looking for that tempered sword, but not today.
And gonna wait out the optimal facing here and get through those bumpers and push away those mini helmet sowers. On to Agate 2.
I heard at least 2 hits there.
Yeah, it seems like we scored the double out of that. They were well spaced, so they should both count. Oh!
The triple double.
Yeah. Someone in chat asking Andy's final time. It was a 1:28:15, as I recall.
That is correct according to SRL.
Yeah, nice triple double from Salty here on Aga 2.
So now, with the Ganon fight, with the silver arrows, it'll be a little easier.
But you gotta earn your way into this final phases.
Yeah, still phase 2 sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, phase 1 not so bad. There's only one trident. But there are many, many fire bats to be seen. We're already there. So, having a little bit of an advantage from the silvers. We're going to see him use that cape and keep himself safe here.
Yeah, and in that spot can get 2 spins each time.
Yeah, really stellar stuff there. I'm dodging the bats. Ooh, but taking one. Still in plenty good shape, though. We'll see if, true to form, he ends up with low health by the end of this. I don't mean that as any comment on his gameplay, it's just the coincidence of his boss fights this particular seed.
And that'll take us into phase 4.
Yep, see him activate his torch glitch by making sure he lights that left torch before the right torch. Spin to send him blue. And we're going to assume that's at least silver hit number 2. Had a bit of an outage. Oh, and just missing number 4. But I think this will be it. There it is.
That's another exploding pig.
Yeah, look out.
And with that, saltyphry has finished.
GG's to him.
See if we can get him in here for a quick interview.
And that's second place with a time of 1:47.12.
Hello.
I believe we have him now. Salty, can you hear us?
I can.
Alright, well, GG, something of a circuitous seed, but finished up well. Any initial thoughts as you finish it?
Yeah, well, this seed I feel like was always going to be kind of a little iffy for me. It kind of played against a lot of my tendencies. Like Steve's Town, Pendant is not a place I tend to really just go and dip early on. Like, I'm not someone who really likes just checking the first 4 chests in there. I prefer to wait and make it when I can have to full clear it more or less. And into Eastern wasn't exactly a place I was really looking to go anytime early as well, so
yeah,
those two kind of feel like they were kind of always going to cause me some issues in this seed. Like, the seed just kind of played out that way, where it was always going to cause me trouble, I think, one way or another.
Yeah, and that's the it can be the sort of bittersweet thing with Randomizer, but in this case you do have the benefit of knowing, well, there's game 2 coming up and it could be a completely different seed. Overall, I think if you keep your execution this sharp and maybe a little help from the RNG and just keeping a positive attitude, you're certainly not out of this one.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like I played pretty solidly. It was just pretty much all the plays I ended up full clearing basically everything before I finally got to Thieves Town or Eastern. The Mire play didn't work. I full cleared Swamp for nothing. Full cleared Ice for nothing. Pretty much everything was kind of like that, it felt like.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah, and like you said, just kind of not the seed for you in this case, and hopefully the next one works out better. I think you still stand a pretty strong chance in this matchup, and
yep,
yeah, just overall, you're certainly not out of this, and I'm really looking to game 2 tomorrow.
Thanks. Yeah, anything can happen, so I'm just going to come back tomorrow, hope for the best, just kind of forget about what happened today, and tomorrow's a new day, hopefully a new seed, something a lot different from this one. Yeah. I like the fact that we got so much early on, because it kind of blew the seed open. When you're playing against someone who you feel is better than you, which I obviously feel Andy is, you don't want to be following him in a straight line, more or less.
Yeah,
right.
So, at least a seed like this, I felt like I was probably on a completely different path than him. I remember I played Keong in the round of 16 of the spring tournament, and the problem was I felt like I was just following him the whole way, and it's basically the same thing. I just ended up behind that way.
Well, unfortunately, we need to wrap up so we can get on
we got
to the
another
next
match
raid.
coming up after this.
We have Korek versus Pika-Pal starting almost immediately. So we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, thank
Come
you.
back
again
tomorrow to see saltyphry and Andy.
Thanks for the run.
And
I've
for
been
Epipoliticos.
Yep.
Yep. Y'all have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, Clifford. Thank you, everyone.